in front of my schoolyard and a black sedan pulls up, and two guys get out and they say to me, do I want to go away with them to a land where everybody's fairies and elves, and I can have all the comic books I want, and chocolate buttons, and wax lips? You know. And I said yes. So I got into the car with them because I figured, what the heck? I was home anyhow that weekend from college. So they drive me off and they send a ransom note to my parents. And my father has bad reading habits. So I got into bed that night with the ransom note. And he read half of it, and he got drowsy and he fell asleep. The ransom note says for my father to leave $1,000 in a hollow tree in New Jersey. He has no trouble raising the $1,000, but he gets a hernia carrying the hollow tree. The night before, when my parents finally realized that I was kidnapped, they snapped into action immediately. They rented out my room. The FBI surround the house. Throw the kid out, they say. Give us your guns and come out with your hands up. The kidnappers say, we'll throw the kid out, but let us keep our guns and get to our car. The FBI says, throw the kid out. We'll let you get to your car, but give us your guns. The kidnappers say, we'll throw the kid out, but let us keep our guns. We don't have to get to our car. The FBI decides to lob in tear gas, but they don't have tear gas. So several of the agents put on the death scene from Camille. Tear-stricken, my abductors give themselves up. They're sentenced to 15 years on a chain gang, and they escape. 12 of them chained together at the ankle, getting by the guards posing as an immense charm bracelet.
Faster than the speed of light, more powerful than an express train, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Yes, madam, that scoundrel won't steal your purse again. I also have to reckon with Superman. No, this is not a gag. I truly am Superman. Superman, madam, Superman. You know, the one you read about in the comic books all the time, Superman. What do you mean my uniform makes me look lumpy when I wear it under my street clothes? Well, it's a little warm, but I usually take it off in the summer. Now, hold on, it is not effeminate. Well, it may be skin tight, but no, I am not a transvestite. You think I'm an exhibitionist, don't you? Don't you? No, I do not save more men than women. I only save those in dire straits. Okay, so I do save more men than women, but that's only because more men get in trouble than women. So I'm okay. I mean, you can't judge me like Earth people. If an Earth person ran around in skin-tight leotards and saved more men than women, well, there might be room for suspicion. But I'm from Krypton. No, it does not make me feel more secure to be called Superman. It's just that you don't believe me. Look, I'll prove it to you. I'll jump over a tall building in a single bound. How about that? Well, fine, have it your way. I'm not Superman, okay? I'm not from Krypton. I don't have any superpowers. I'm not. Satisfied? But, you will admit I'm better than the average man. Say, how about me and you going to the theater tomorrow night? No. How about the next night? You're busy. Well, look, I promise, if you go out with me, I won't wear the uniform. I'll wear a suit. I promise. I'll go out and I'll buy a suit. In fact, I'll go right now and buy, I can't wear a suit. I'm not going to wear a suit.
Mr. Cornell, I have tried to be friendly. I have tried to be neighborly. And I have tried to be cordial. I don't know what it is that you are trying to be. That first night, I was appreciative that you carried my trunk up the stairs. The fact that it slipped and fell 5 flights and split to pieces was not your fault. I didn't even mind that personal message you painted on the stairs. I thought it was crazy, but sort of sweet. However, things have now gone too far. I cannot accept gifts from a man I hardly know, especially canned goods. Oh, and I read your little note. I can guess the gist of it even though I don't speak Italian. This has got to stop, Mr. Cornell. I can do without you leaving those little chocolate almond Hershey bars in my mailbox. They melted yesterday, and now I got 3 gooey letters from home with nuts in them. And I can do without you sneaking into my apartment after I have gone to work and painting my balcony without telling me about it. I stepped out there yesterday, and my slippers are still glued to the floor. And I can do without you tying big bottles of eau de cologne to my cat's tail. Poor thing kept swishing it yesterday, and she nearly beat herself to death. And most of all, I can do without you watching me get on the bus every day through that high-powered telescope. You got me so nervous the other day I got on the wrong bus. In short, Mr. Cornell, and I don't want to have to say this again, leave me alone. Our town was being threatened by a ferocious dragon, so the town officials decided that a virgin should be sacrificed. That's when I was chosen. You've no idea how thrilled I was to be able to save my town from destruction. All the girls were just green. So I rode through the town, and they showered me with affection. All the boys said they loved me and were sorry to see me go. I was sure I would remember this day for the rest of my life, which didn't seem too difficult under the circumstances. Then they put me in this gorgeous white gown, not too revealing, but just enough to give you a hint, and then strapped me to this big, flat rock. It was so exciting. Then Tollard the dragon appeared, and my heart was beating ever so fast. He came up, sniffed me a couple of times, and then turned around and left, just like that. So there I am, strapped to this rock in this lovely white dress studded with mother of pearl, looking as succulently innocent as you please, and he turns me down like yesterday's porridge. I've never been so embarrassed in all my life. Strapped to this stupid rock and not a dragon in sight. Naturally, everyone assumed the worst, that I was ineligible, invalidated, which wasn't true. I've never done anything like that in my life. Except for maybe a little with Albert Mooney, but you know how he is, and he didn't get very far. I made him stop right away. Well, anyway, as it turns out, the dragon was a vegetarian, so I was cleared. But I was right. I will remember that day for the rest of my life.
The king asked the queen, and the queen asked the dairymaid, could we have some butter for the royal slice of bread? Well, the queen asked the dairymaid said, certainly, I'll go and tell the cow now before she goes to bed. The dairymaid, she curtsied and went to the Alderney. Could we have some butter for the royal slice of bread? Well, the Alderney said sleepily, you better tell His Majesty that many people nowadays like marmalade instead. Well, the dairymaid said, fancy, and went to Her Majesty. She curtsied to the queen and she turned a little red. Excuse me, Your Majesty, for taking of the liberty, but marmalade is tasty if it's very thickly spread. Well, the queen said, ooh, and went to His Majesty. Throw me the butter for the royal slice of bread. Many people nowadays think marmalade is nicer. Would you like to try a little marmalade instead? Well, the king said, bother. And then he said, oh, dearie me. The king sobbed, oh, dearie me, and went back to bed. Nobody, my darling, would call me a fussy man. I only want a little bit of butter to my bread. Well, the queen said, there, and went to the dairymaid. The dairymaid said, there, and went to the shed. The Alderney said, oh, there, I didn't really mean it. Here's milk for his porringer and butter for his bread. Well, the queen took the butter and brought it to His Majesty. The king said, butter, eh? And bounced out of bed. Nobody, he said as he slid down the banister. Nobody, he said as he kissed her tenderly. Nobody, my darling, would call me a fussy man, but I do like a little bit of butter to my bread.